There we
Because you thought so.
Yeah, you thought you were going live today.
Well, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome to Saxon. First time on the pod. We're so happy to have you for this. Before we get into the Babysitter, Saxon, what's your favorite scary movie?
Okay, so I've been thinking about this because I knew you were going to ask. And a lot of times my go-to is Scream. I would say that one's definitely, I mean come on, we all know. But like my answer changes day to day. Lately, I have found myself thinking about Carrie. I mean, for all of the problematic stuff with it, it's still pretty solid. I think it's a great movie. So that one's definitely up there.
You are talking about the original, correct?
Oh yeah, the Sissy Spacek, Brian De Palma.
I wouldn't have heard anything else. I would have been like, "You're wrong."
Yeah, no, I would have said I was wrong.
Yeah, Sissy Spacek was right there. Like, who's saying anything different? What?
Well, Saxon, really quick before we get started, why don't you go ahead and plug any social media you want to plug out there, projects or anything like that?
Right. No big projects right now. Hopefully in the future there will be some. But for now, you can follow me on Twitter at Saxon Whitehead, my name, or on Letterboxd. I'm pretty active on there. You can either just find me by searching my name or at Saxonian87.
Cool. All right. Well, let's get into The Babysitter.
You want to kick it off, Saxon?
Sure. I guess the best way to put it is that I'm kind of mixed on this movie. Some of it works really well. Some of it absolutely does not for me. I was kind of hesitant going into it just because, I mean, I didn't really know what to expect. And I'm not really much of a McGee fan who directed this. So I was just kind of like, oh. I guess I would say I kind of liked it. It's pretty okay. There's some fun moments, but there's a lot of stuff that really rubbed me the wrong way with this one.
You have thoughts, Amanda?
Yeah. I mean, when it comes up, it's like McG, and I was like, all right. But it was fun. I don't know how to describe it. It was just really fun. I felt like I was in a teenager's comic book, like watching him talk about demons and the way that the babysitter, it's interesting to see the babysitter be the evil one, and not taking down evil. Was that interesting, cool concept. So yeah, I had a lot of, it was like, woo, but I had a lot of fun with it, right? Like I said, it was like that cool comic book kind of vibe. Scott Pilgrim-y. I'm trying to think, who was that? Edgar Wright who wrote or directed that one?
Yeah, Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright. So him and McG kind of have that fun balance of, how they play with those worlds. So yeah.
Sharai, let's hear it. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
My initial thoughts are, I agree. I didn't have my glasses on, so I didn't know McG directed it till the end. But I was like, this was like a music video, because McG is very much the Charlie's Angels with Drew Barrymore, not the new stuff. And like Sugar Ray videos. And so he's got a very specific aesthetic. So I was like, this was like a long music video. And there's all this like different style choices being thrown in. And there were some things that could have easily been trimmed. But they were there because somebody might find them funny in the universe. I did not. So yeah. So I would agree. I feel like it's one of those movies where I had to like ask myself, am I having fun, or do I just really, 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 really love Samara Weaving, who can sell anything to anybody on the street any day of the year? Yeah.
My first thought is I always enjoy a movie that really knows what it is. And I feel like this movie really knew what it was. It didn't try to take it anywhere past just fluff. So I enjoy it for that. I do agree there are some problematic things that I'm sure we'll get to. But overall, yeah, I agree. I had fun. I'd watched it before, like when it first came out, but I hadn't seen it since then. And so there were things that I did not remember was in this movie. Like, did not remember the cops showing up. Did not remember like all the bullying and all that stuff. Did not. I remembered some of it, but not to the extent of what it was. So it was an interesting revisit. I'm so. Let's talk about the areas of the film that we did not particularly love. So, Saxon, why don't you start with that?
Okay, so you're asking for the parts that we didn't particularly love. You're kind of cutting out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I ask.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. Yeah. Just
all right. Okay, just double checking. Okay. Well, I have a lot of notes. I'll put it that way. Just from like a basic like filmmaking standpoint, I did not care much for the saturated like artificial light that was all over this movie. That's just more of a nitpick on my part. The one thing that bothered me the most, I'll just go ahead and just jump right into this, is it's not like a really big part of the movie, but it's something that's very glaring and obvious to me, is the way this movie treats Black people. Really bothered me while watching this. I mean, we start out with that opening scene with the guy who's giving him the flu shot, and that just didn't feel right to me. And then the entirety of King Batch's character just was very upsetting to me. What?
I'm agreeing so much. Like, first off, the doctor didn't need to be there. That scene could have been cut because we know he's afraid of needles because it's in conversation, and the mother tells us he had a flu shot. So that was just like them padding. But like the way I didn't even know he was going to be in the movie, but the way his character was written, and I get it. People are going to want to argue. All of them were a stereotype of the sacrifice. However, I'm tired of the stereotype of the Black man being the fool. And the Black man just saying all of the idiotic things, and he wants to talk to her about her boobs and the whole Black Lives Matter too. I was upset. I wanted to pull the plug on this movie, but I was like, we're gonna start this in like an hour and a half, so I can't really be like, we're not doing this.
Yeah. The Black Lives Matter part, like I was just cringing so hard at that one. That like even in like 2017, that joke would have made me cringe, but like especially now, given our current climate, I was just like, hell no, this is terrible. But yeah, that bothered me. The whole first 5 minutes of this movie, I was just not into it until Samara Weaving comes in, and then I was like, okay, I'm back into this now. This is a little bit more, like, just because like she just has such a great presence on screen. Like her, and like I think she does such a fantastic job in this movie and just about everything I've seen her in. She's so good in Ready or Not. So that's where the movie kind of started to take off for me. But my biggest gripes were with that first 5 minutes, and then anything with King Batch. I just does not.
Also, the bully was a Black kid.
Yes.
The only kid in the entire town was a Black kid who's a bully.
Right. Yeah, I noticed that too. And that was just kind of like, are we sure we want to make that choice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wasn't here for it.
This was one of those that, right. This was one of those that like there were no like real positive depictions of Black people. Like everything was either the bully or the fool. Yeah. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah. It just, you could have done so much.
Because you also had Sonya, and she wasn't. Right. And Sonya, I would argue, was not really an Asian stereotype.
Mm-mm.
Am I cutting out again?
No.
You were. They did make Sonya sort of spooky and aloof, though, which is it's on the line. I'm happy they didn't go full on stereotype with her, but I was like, I see these thumbprints.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Mm-hmm.
How you feeling, Amanda?
Amanda, what's something you didn't like?
I mean, I wrote about that, the stereotypes. It was just like the dialogue of, they started to sound like one voice, right? Like all the Black characters. had that one voice, and I was like, okay, so this is what you're doing. Okay, cool. Great. So I didn't enjoy that at all. And then going back into oh my gosh, where are my notes? What did I write? Oh, you know, there are actually a lot of young actors out there that are great, and they look like they're in high school and can, you know, do this kind of stuff. I think I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I mean, I'm in my 30s, I'll act too, but like I shouldn't be in Riverdale. Like it just shouldn't happen anymore. And I think I'm getting over this like idea of like, you know, I don't think some of them were in high school. Like when we go back into other things later on, we find out about them. But when he's like, you're the quarterback and all these things, I'm like, really? Because he's 40. He's 40. He looks great, by the way. Don't get me wrong. I don't have abs. I've never had an ab. No, it's a lie. I had an ab in like I was 12, but that's a different thing. But like I think I'm getting tired of that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm just like, but if it adds to the comedy, even better. But if it's like constantly that, I'm like, ugh, I'm just tired. What the hell? You guys are so old.
Right.
It also hurt because like they're supposed to be 12-year-olds, like Cole and Cole's group. And I was like, these kids are not 12. They're at 16-ish. And they're like messing up words. And I'm like, you know what a prostitute is. Don't lie to me, good sir. What? Yeah.
Or like the part where he's like Googling like orgy. Like what is that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to just go ahead and I want to go ahead and get into how the women were portrayed because, like, first off, Leslie Bibb is a mom. We see her 3 times. Once she's telling her son not to say the P word, and then the next time she's like, "Don't forget you had a flu shot," even though we wasted a scene on that, so people know. And then the 3rd time she's giving her husband a hand job, being like, "Don't put the knife in there." And I'm just like, this is Leslie Bibb. Like, she's been around for a minute. I feel like she deserves more to do in a script. Maybe she only had like a couple of hours to film shit, and that's what they did with it. I don't know. And then like even the girl next door, Cole has the crush on. Like she is just like smile. That's her cue. Smile, smile, smile. And I was like, I'm sure she has an idea of what to do in the situation. She seems on it. She seems smart. Why can't she have some cool adventure or something? She's just kind of like, hey Cole, let me smile at you and take my dad's car. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Who and why? And again, like Samara Weaving, I love her.
Yeah.
And she did all she could with this, but at the end of the day, it was you're the dream girl for this like 12-year-old. So let's like get some wind in that hair and let's keep those shorts tight. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say I strangely felt kind of bad for her in the end. She started crying and I was like, I kind of feel that.
I will say that moment was weird for me because, like, I don't know how many people when they were younger knew someone who was like an addict or something like that. And so it was a weird moment of this person's lucid and this person might actually care, but also this person's not healthy. And so I'm happy you parked your car on her because that's not a fun relationship. So that was a weird moment. And I was happy they like busted it up with the end credit scene.
Hi, Teddy. Oh, and thank you, Crystal, for the birthday wish earlier. Thank you.
Teddy.
So we've talked about things we didn't like. Let's talk about something we did like. So, Saxon, why don't you say something that you did like?
Okay.
If there is something.
I mean, there are some things. I mean, I do think that the movie was fun for the most part. At least when it's at its best, there are fun moments. I think it's best whenever it kind of leans more into that kind of B-movie, almost grindhousey, comic booky aesthetic, which I felt there wasn't enough of really for me to really think of that, for it to like really work as well as it could have. But like whenever it works, in my opinion. Again, Samara Weaving, I thought she was wonderful in this. I do agree that her portrayal is not the best. But I mean, liked her in it. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what else there was. I can't remember. But I just have so many criticisms with this one. It's hard for me to really sift through it to find the good stuff. So
we'll be back for some more criticisms. Just you wait.
I cannot wait.
Things I like, when we started talking about the devil, and I was like, oh, if I see another goat show up, fine, whatever, Zootopia, whatever, bring the goat. But there was no devil, right? Like, they were demons, and like I liked seeing that. Like, the demon is like the everyday kind of people. The cheerleader checks out, the court checks out. Like, I was just like, that makes sense. They're doing well, by the way. So I did like that aspect of, okay, we're not going to see the devil. These are the demons. What's going on? The book, because you need the book. And then I kind of like the way, in sense of, we kind of made Cole like Sherlock Holmes in some sense, where he'd be like, oh, I'm slowly picking up these items that are going to come in useful later. And I do like that kind of thing where maybe I do that in my head, my MacGyver head sometimes, where I'm like, if I take this pencil, all hell's going to break loose, So I do like that he set us up those moments for like how we're going to use these things, or and the space is huge. I liked how big it was, and it made sense in my head, right? We saw the house, we knew the underground was creepy. You knew the distance to his best friend's house. You knew the the tree house was taken down. So everything made sense in my mind of space, and the objects that were going to be used. So I did like that, because sometimes, you go into a house and you're like, this is not a 2-bedroom, 2-bath house. This is a 17-bedroom house, So I do like the scale in some way, but yeah, it was a theater set, but it made sense in the movie. So that's what I had.
It was a gorgeous house. I was like, why are all your rooms so cool in the suburb?
The suburbs.
The suburb. You got cool walls. Right? I also really like the soundtrack, which again makes sense because this was a long music video, and Mick G does music videos. And so, like, the music was just fun. And I'm pretty sure the chase music, whenever Cole was running, was Boys Wanna Be Her by Peaches. Like, I'm like 90% sure it was. Yeah. And I'm like, that's fun, because like that was like their cue the whole time. Like, he was watching her shake her hair and jump in the pool and things. And now he's running to it. And that was cute. Like, so yeah. I also like
I think that
I also like their relationship, because before we knew she was the problem, they were very cool. Like, they were just like, let's nerd out, let's do this, let's do that. And then you find out it's a long con, and it makes it kind of cooler on her part. Because I'm like, maybe some of this is a character. She's using this to get at him. So that was kind of fun to see, like, kids have fun, even though the kids are much older than they're supposed to be.
Yeah. I agree with all that. I think that I do think for me, one of the strongest things, like Sharai was saying, is the relationship between Cole and B. They're from the very beginning when you meet B, and I agree with when Saxon said that's when the movie kind of started for me. We could have cut that whole before that moment. Of course, you got to have the bullying, but whatever, you know what I mean. And I think that's why I kind of did in the end feels when she's sitting there and trying to have this connected moment with him. But I also understand where he's coming from, because as Sharai said earlier, she is toxic, and that relationship is toxic. Mm-hmm. So it was a very interesting coming of age story.
I feel like I'd also cut the bully storyline out, because it didn't really provide anything other than we have a bully and he's the one black kid we cast. Because like his character made no sense. Like, if you're a bully and you're a hardcore bully and a kid, you're not going to stop and throw eggs and dance in front of his house. You're going to see him on the street. Like, why are you wasting eggs? Like, what is going on?
Yeah, why are you doing that?
Yeah. He made no sense. He just made the movie longer. And he also led to that scene, and I hate that scene where Cole's about to be murdered by the shirtless athlete guy. And he's like, "What do you mean you're getting bullied? You go stand up for yourself." I'm like, why are you wasting time? You have the kid you're trying to kill. Kill him. Don't be like, let's go take care of your bully and then I'll kill you. What is that kind of Scooby-Doo bullshit? That scene makes me so mad. That's not a plot point.
Yeah, that relationship between Cole and the jock made absolute no sense to me. It was a fun chase scene. I will give you that. But like, it went from like, I'm chasing you, I'm going to catch you, I'm going to kill you. I think they were trying to go for like cat and mouse, I'm playing with you before I kill you kind of thing, but it just didn't work.
You got more thoughts down there, Saxon?
I mean, with the just to kind of build off of what you're saying, Trent, about the shirtless guy, that whole thing. I agree. Like, it just did not make much sense as to like why that dynamic just changed to being like, "Hey, I'm going to help you stand up to your bully." It just didn't. It just made no sense. The whole thing. I was like, okay, let's get back to the main thing here. Let's wrap this up. And so that really bothered me. I will say, and I don't know, maybe it was just because I was just trying to grasp for something to make me laugh a little. The one part of that whole thing that made me laugh is where he's chasing him and he takes B's advice from earlier to just punch him in the dick. And just the delivery that Cole has of like, because he's just like, he's talking about like, my dick is huge. And Cole's like, no, it's not. It's just the weirdest delivery that just killed me for some reason. Just no, it's not. That's that's like the only good part of that whole segment of the movie for me was that. I was like, huh. And then after that, I was like, okay, let's wrap it up again. Let's see.
You got another point? Oh, go ahead.
You go ahead.
I was gonna just be like, if you got another point, Amanda. Like looking at rotation.
Yeah, when we bring Samuel back into the house, right? When they all are hanging out after Cole goes to sleep. He goes to sleep. Like we knew what was something, he watched that was like Cole was seeing that happen with Samuel, that whole setup, and I was like, okay, that's weird, but whatever. Are all the sacrifices like, even like when you think of a virgin, do they all look like that? Like, are they all those guys with a really bad haircut, glasses, and like a striped shirt? Because I know some virgins, they don't look like that.
It's the uniform in this universe.
I guess it's the uniform, right? I was just like, oh no, that's your sacrifice, isn't it? Damn it, his bifocals, leave him alone. Like, he's got a lot going on. So the whole thing with Samuel too, because it was that whole kissing scene with Bella Thorpe's character, and I was just like, are you kidding me? Look, I wasn't that upset. But then I was just like, hurry up. Like, just get like, because I know they were also, and then it went like to the joke, right? Like, ooh, keep going. Like, that was sexual and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, okay, we're here, aren't we? So yeah, the whole uniform of like the sacrifice sometimes, like, right? Who the nerdy kid. Yeah, the stereotypes in this were really like, oh gosh.
Oof.
So that was something that, yeah, her whole little party was just a mess. I was just like, get it over with. You know what you need to do.
I also wanted to know why that group would hang out together. And I was confused why the Virgin thought that he was going to hang out with this assortment of characters that don't already belong together. I couldn't tell who was like, this is not a real friend group, just so we're all clear. Look.
Real friend group. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they because they kind of allude to it when Cole sees her with the nerd coming out of the gas station or something, and like super cuddly and kind of relationshipy. So it made sense to me like why he was there. Now I didn't expect the sacrifice part when I first watched this, but like, because it's kind of it sets up a relationship. But yeah, the other people, I don't know why they would hang out together.
Because this movie lives in the superficial world of like a she's all that, where if you have glasses, you're not attractive. Her with that nerd never made sense. And like the fact that Cole didn't clock it, she didn't clock it, the nerd didn't clock it. I was like, know your superficial world. It would have been better had they went with somebody who was like less easily identifiable, that might actually belong in this weird circle of people who don't belong together. Because like you have like your goth woman, you have like your cheerleader, you have your athlete, you have Samara Weaving, who seems to be like the rock and roll 70s girl. And you have like your black guy who you don't really have a personality to other than make him funny. And so like, do they have a class together? I don't know. What? I don't know why they would hang out. One of
the class of Satanism.
Class of Satanism.
That would bring them together. I'll have to see the school curriculum, but I'll buy that. Easier than their class together on Sunday night.
Theater and dance. We're all like,
One of the things I appreciate is that all of Cole's kills are accidental. He accidentally kills all of these people, except for in the end. And he doesn't actually kill her because the end credit scene says she's alive. And there's a sequel. So, like, that math checks out. But, like, all of his kills are accidental. And I appreciate that because he does not seem to be a smart kid. He keeps mispronouncing words, even though he's supposed to be 12. These are, like, easy vocab words. The girl next door seems to be more on it, even though all she's given is smiling. And so I was like, I don't see him being efficient in defending himself. And he was not. It was all luck. He was like Mr. Bean in Home Alone.
But in a way that for me, that made him a little more endearing, that he wasn't like like with Your Next, which we just talked about, when she became just such a badass. I went with that, and this time it made him like, oh, he's just accidentally up here hanging people and blowing them up. Well, how did the house not blow up when he blew up the basement? I'm real confused by the science.
Because you just mentioned Your Next, my other thing is he has more neighbors. Why is he not talking to any of the adults that are still home about this weird satanic cult that's in his house? He runs to the girl next door and is like, I don't want to get you in trouble, and tries to lock the door from the outside. He tries to lock her bathroom door from the outside, and I'm like, kid, you're not even trying.
Look, I don't know anymore because I heard a really loud noise, like a body dropped from the neighbors above me, and I was like, hope they're okay. Like, I ignored it. I was like, you gotta do laundry, you gotta do stuff. So this world seems more believable to me, like daily. It's like it checks out.
So I got a question. Or no, it's more of a PSA, really. If you are living in a home and your crawl space under your house is filled with hundreds of tarantulas, it is time to leave. Also, if you live in a home where at night it's so the fog like sits around the bottom of the ground, it's time to move. It's time to move. The outside of this house was so foggy. Even when they were watching the movie, I was like, why is all this fog out here? Like, what's going on?
I didn't understand how well off this family was because, like, they had their projections. They could have their own, like, drive-in theater. And they had, like, the pool. And they had, like, the babysitter who's a rocker chick who's not, like, your typical, here's $10, Sally. Thanks for watching my kid. And they have, like, all of these, like, really cool rooms that don't belong in the same house. And I'm just like, I don't understand what is happening here. I feel like whoever, like, designed it didn't really, like, get into, like, who these people should and could be. Because, again, we only have, like, 3 scenes with the parents. And so they were like, can't care. What will look good behind Samara Weaving? those stripes. Yeah, doing it.
Yeah, I have to agree. Yeah, I would if the house was on Zillow, I'd be like, "What's going on over there?
Right.
Why is this real? Why is the rent so cheap?" Those are things were kind of like, "Oh, the house is evil. Like this was a ground for like evil, blah 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 blah." And then I gave him too much credit, and then I took it back. I was like, "Wait, you get that back?" Yeah, but like you said, Sharai, it felt like I was watching Richie Rich. You know what I mean? I was like, how you have all that stuff? Where'd you get all that stuff? I was an only child too, but like, I have that much stuff.
Right. I have questions about these people.
I'm mad. I want that much stuff.
I want that much stuff.
And while they're living in the best house in a suburb ever, they are also giving their child a babysitter, even though the girl across the street is like, yeah, you're the last kid our age who has a babysitter. So you can't trust him at home at the age of 12? Yeah. Who are you raising?
And like, what other just kind of like building off of this, like, how well off are these people? There's that one scene like early on the movie where like the dad and Cole are doing donuts at like that racetrack, and it's just like that. It's never addressed again. Like it's just kind of like, why is this here? Why is
Nope.
Why are we hanging out here and just kind of having like father son time? I did until like just now. I was like, oh yeah, that does happen in the movie. Just doing donuts with Ken Marino, just casual, whatever.
As you do.
As you do, typical coming of age stuff. Your babysitter tries to kill you. You do donuts with Ken Marino. It's whatever. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Tuesdays.
Yeah, it's just a Tuesday.
While we're on the car situation, let's talk about the girl next door's dad's car, which again is something else we could have cut completely because you see him pull up and they're like, this is midlife crisis after my parents got divorced. And so like this car means everything to him. Yet we also find out he went on a date and didn't drive. And so the car is there for Cole to run over B. And I'm just like, we didn't need all of this for you to run her over. You could have grabbed anybody's car and I wouldn't have given a shit. It's fine.
Yeah.
We didn't stop making your movies longer just to make them longer. Like it wasn't necessary.
And like on top of that, this movie's already like a brisk like 85 minutes. Like this could have been just like a good short film, I think. And that would have been more than okay with me.
It could have been a post-it. It could have just
it probably would have been better.
The babysitter's coming, you gotta kill her. Boop.
Boop. XOXO.
Babysitter.
Babysitter.
That's who Gossip Girl was.
It was the babysitter all along.
All along.
I knew it.
Oh my god, that would be an amazing twist for Wanda. That the babysitter all along.
Yes.
You got thoughts on it?
I think we're too.
What was the pool in their backyard?
Yeah.
I never saw it again. Right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I was like,
Nope.
there's going to be a death by the pool because that's how it always happens. Someone's going to electrocuted, get caught up in the drain. Something's going to happen. That's why I don't go to public pools. And then it was just like, we had a pool, but it disappeared. And I was like, that happened. Right? I don't think I'm crazy, right? I think it was there.
They just wanted B to be in a bathing suit. They just wanted her in a bathing suit. So they blew money on a pool just to get her to her bathing suit. And then they were like, well, good day. It was a good job. Well done, everybody. See you all tomorrow. Again, other things that could be cut. Also, where was the wall of this house that's so flat you can do a movie on it? Because there's windows everywhere. But there was a wall earlier.
Oh, that's right. Now my brain's just going.
I wonder if that was supposed to be like the outside of the garage.
It might have been.
Probably
Maybe.
Not. I probably
I don't think so. I don't know.
I'll have to look at it again, but I'm not going to.
This movie just takes place in a world where nothing makes sense. Things show up and disappear all the time.
Yeah. Such a convenient movie.
Yeah, very. That's like the best thing you can probably say about this movie is convenient.
Yeah, so many concerns. So many questions. I keep seeing other parts that could have and should have been cut, and it would have been a real cute 30, 40-minute movie.
Yeah.
See that.
Yeah.
Also, the gore was really weird.
Yeah.
The gore, because like there were so many deaths that I was like, you could have shown the gore, and it would. I mean, not that I'm a huge, gore person. I'm not, but like if you're gonna have like when the jock dude kills the police officer, like essentially rips his skull off. If you're gonna do that, then show it. If not, then like, what are we doing here?
I feel like they were trying to like toe that line because again, it's McG, and McG is very much a music video person. Like we've seen those early episodes of Supernatural. He's not gonna give you a bunch of like blood and guts. He knows his lane, and his lane is making long music videos. And so that's what we got. Which is why you have like the cheerleader with the hole in her boob. Just random. We're not even gonna explain how it's not bleeding anymore. It's just like a random hole. Just boop. Damn. It's real round and perfect. And it's a concern. It's just like, oh no one's ever gonna sleep with me again. I'm like, you have a hole in your boob. Okay? Let's focus on what's important.
Focus on that. Yeah.
And then just to contrast that with like the first big kill of the movie with Samuel, where that kill surprised me just in the method, because I was like, okay, right in the head, okay, whatever you say, and then just gallons of like, blood just everywhere. It was just like it's just like opposite ends of the spectrum to me, just like a little bit just here and there, and then just like we're gonna go full like Tarantino like
just everywhere. Yeah.
For that blood splatter, when she runs him through with both knives in the head, you would have to make a pact with Satan to get that blood out of those carpets and curtains and walls. You have to. I guess that's why they summoned him, to get rid of the blood that they used to summon him.
Yeah, you cut to and it's her with a Tide pen. She's just like, yeah, like okay, yeah, we believe that.
One of the things I found more confusing is she's chasing Cole with a shotgun. Like clearly she is done trying to save this kid. And then she comes in and she shoots the cheerleader, and the cheerleader finally dies. Thank the Lord. And then she puts the gun down, trying to reason with him. And I'm like, but you were going to kill him and his little girlfriend 2 seconds ago. So like, what is this? And why are you lying to him? You're not going to take him with you. Like, I don't understand what the goal is at that point.
Yeah, because we don't know what happens to his blood, right? Like, they already have the sacrifice blood. You just need his. So, like, what happened to the? Yeah, I was just thinking that, like, she doesn't. She
Which
needs
they
to
have.
still complete it.
They already have his
herself.
blood too.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that confuses me, because you have his blood, so you can finish your sacrifice. Yet you tie him to a chair, and then you let him home alone you the rest of the movie, as opposed to just doing what you came to do. Like, why wouldn't you just be like, we're going to tie him up and summon Satan and then deal with him later? Because calling Satan feels more pressing, or at least it should have.
Satan is
priorities, right?
Because you have a flip phone. I'm telling you, I trust no one when they whip out a flip phone. I do not trust you. That's my hot take. Yeah.
He's on that sprint plan, so you got to get him at certain hours.
One thing that I want to one thing that I want to mention, and this is for any writers or filmmakers out there listening or watching, or both, who knows? Let's not make HIV jokes. It's still too soon. Yes. It that really rubbed me the wrong way.
Same.
Let's not make an HIV joke.
Yeah.
Again, they gave the black guy all of the offensive lines, and I think that was their way of being like, if it's coming from him, they'll let us have it. But no, what it comes down to is you wrote that and gave it to him. You're still the problem.
Well, one thing that I considered, and it could be in the script, but also just knowing who King Batch is, because he was a Viner back in the day. That's kind of his style of comedy. So I think some of that it had to come from writers. Like the Black Lives Matter, I feel like had to be written. Like I don't think I just don't want to imagine that like being an improv line. But a lot of it just felt like he was riffing, just based off some of the stuff I've seen from him.
And either way, they still left it in the movie. They could have cut it or reshot it or told him, hey, don't say it. That's the debate between the Kelly Rowland in Freddy versus Jason. If it was scripted for her to say faggot, or if it was improv, either way, don't do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not defending what he did. I'm not defending it either way. I'm just saying that's a possibility. So either way, totally reprehensible.
Yeah, like every time he made a joke, I cringed. And I was like, how is this? Why is this? Mm-hmm. And it made me wonder if people actually like this movie or if it just feels like a cool movie, so they fall into that trap of liking it. Mm-hmm. Because that happens a lot, especially when you're used to music videos or you miss music videos. You're like, oh yeah, I love this Charlie's Angels. We didn't. Spoiler alert. How many of us are rewatching that? Like, it was cool. Right? It was cool. Lucy Liu was there. It wasn't great. Destiny's Child gave us a song and we thought it was going to be great.
Amanda, looking at screen caps is not the same thing. It's okay to do that.
Okay, cool. What a time in my life.
Oh, yeah.
I have no idea whose turn it is.
Movies, but that makes sense now that I think about it.
Yeah, because I was a Sugar Ray kid because I had nowhere else to go. And so I'm very familiar with the McGee style.
Sugar Ray accepted me when no one else would.
I was homeschooled. It's not my fault.
You get a badge.
Everyone listen. Everyone, Sharai has just made an announcement. She is a Sugar Ray fan. I don't know how I feel about this.
I was, because there was nowhere to go. They were on VH1 and MTV too, but not MTV because they were never going to be mainstream. But they were on both of those. And so I'd be like, oh yeah, I do just want to fly. And Nick G was like, car, Mark McGrath, car. Formulas. And so I saw a lot of those videos, which is why when I saw Charlie's Angels, I was like, yeah, that is that scene director.
You're right.
And I saw some of the like, yeah, that is that scene director.
We do owe a lot to VH1. You remember Pop-Up Video? This is all but Pop-Up Video taught me to read so fast that now when CNN scrolls happen, I already know what the next word is. They've kidnapped the ambassador. Got it. Done. You know what I mean? I was like, so Pop-Up Video was like my reading teacher. I was like, time me go.
It's how I know anything about music because Pop-Up Video.
In sync, top 5 hits. Yeah.
Right?
Pop-Up Video.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So you're right. Yeah, that music video essence of what's going on in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense now.
Yeah. I do like that she's a villain, even if I don't like how and the framing of how she's the villain, because I'm not here for this movie in general. But I do love a good female villain. Give me more women killing people for whatever the reasons. I won't even ask questions. That's why I didn't ask, why are you summoning Satan? That was never my conversation. It was like, she wants to summon Satan. Let her have it. Kill the kid. Like, I wasn't like she wants to summon him because she wants to call back so-and-so from the other realm. I was like, it's done. Satan's happening. Let's do this. So yeah.
Yeah, that was a day that happened in an entire day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Must have been daylight savings time because I was like, wow, this is the longest after school babysitting job ever.
What is the timeline though? Now that you're talking about it, because he comes home from school, His parents pack. The babysitter shows up. They have a whole summer vacation in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
She puts him down for bed. Her friends come over. They sacrifice somebody after making out in this circle because they're playing spin the bottle, as you do when you're 25-year-olds playing 16-year-olds. And then like they chase him around for like another 5 days, but like it's not sunrise yet. Even when the parents come back to town, it's not sunrise yet.
Yeah, you're
It's
right.
like permanent night. It's like 30 Days of Night when Josh Hartnett appeared in the sequel.
It is.
30 Days of Night. Now they're vampire. Yeah.
They're setting
Melanie
up.
was awake. Did my
All right.
volume go on?
Well, should we get to some hot takes?
What is not a hot take for 300?
Sheray's already said her hot take. Sheray's hot take is that she was a fan of things we shall not say.
Was I a fan, or did I just have nowhere else to go? Like, that's the question.
That's fair. I'll let that
Yeah.
go. I forgive you. I'm just kidding.
Thank you.
I hear
Thank
you.
you.
I guess I'll let it go.
You want to start the hot takes?
Yeah, I'll do the hot
Saxon,
take.
do you have a hot
Sorry.
take?
Yeah, it's kind of more of a lukewarm take, I guess, just based on our conversation. But I think if this movie was directed by someone who is not McG, it might have actually worked a lot better, because I was doing some looking into like the screenwriter, because this was written by some other dude, and it sounded like there were quite a bit of differences, and I feel like a lot changed from the moment McG got on the project to that, because like the characters, like we discussed, mostly stereotypes of various characters you'll find in horror films. That was not the case in the original script, which surprised me. And the script was like on like the blacklist back in like 2014. So I'm kind of wanting to read the original script just because I'm curious to see like what changed between this and the version we got. But I think if literally anyone else but McG directed this, I would have enjoyed it like infinitely more than I did. Just because the McG of it all just, I think, kind of just ruins a lot of it for me.
I really wish a woman had helmed it, just because Samara Weaving's character would have been able to just be bad and be comfortable, because her shorts were in her ass the whole time, and I felt so bad for her. And I wanted to be like, somebody give her something not in her cheeks, because like that was, again, is the aesthetic, because it's very like 70s rocker chick. We don't have real like objectives. We're just here to look hot and then summon Satan, and that's all you need to know. And I'm like, no, that's not this movie, is it? And it's like, it is. I'm like, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fully agree on that. Definitely a woman should have directed this. Absolutely.
Yeah. You got some hot
Always.
takes,
That's
Amanda?
always the answer.
Hot take.
Listen.
I mean, again, will always be my hot take. It's probably gonna be my hot take in the next couple of films. I don't know. I don't trust you if you have a flip phone. Also, what the hell, people? No one has a flip phone anymore. Okay, but anyway, I'm gonna let that go. But I agree with Saxon. Like, get a new director, because there were moments that it could have been really successful and really interesting to see. Cole, at one point I was like, why don't we make Cole like Clarissa? Like, I'd love to see a girl, because that happened to me. Like, I had a babysitter for a while, like as a female, because my parents didn't want me to be alone. Not that I would like light the house on fire, but like, like they were worried about like, strangers or something like that. So, I'd love to see a female take this on and be like, hi, all that crap you have in there, get rid of it. Let's focus on the script and like making this like a powerful woman. And because demons are scary, and they made demons be like, oh, they shop at Target. Well, actually, no, they probably do.
They shop at Walmart.
The red sale, forget it. But yeah, I would have liked to see those things. That's my hot take. I agree. New director. And he did the sequel. Oh god.
No, I have to watch that.
Yeah, I actually watched it this morning, and good luck.
What do you mean, Saxon? Why are you
It's gonna
gonna
be
do
an hour
that?
of hot
Why
takes.
would you do that?
I echo different director, definitely. I also want to say that my hot take is part of the reason this movie fails is because Hollywood has this thing where it doesn't want to see the hot chick be evil. And that's why we have to like dress it up and make it pink and make it pop and make it fun. It would have been a much more interesting tale if she was just like straight up, I'm summoning Satan and I'm your babysitter. Go to your room. That would have been more engaging. And also Cole could have maybe been competent because would have had actual fear as opposed to trying to like live in that like weird gray area of she's the hot babysitter and I'm just an innocent kid. Because again, he's not 12. When you don't hire 12-year-olds to play 12-year-olds, you lose that. So like all of him doing the dumb things just didn't work. So I'm like, you're a grown-ass man. I know you know bathroom door is locked from the inside. So yeah, making different choices, like making the kid competent and making the babysitter just like evil and not like sexy evil. Stop doing sexy evil.
Yeah.
I'd rather you just not do evil if you're going to do sexy evil because nobody wants that. We have years of that failing.
Fair. So my hot take, it's not really a hot take, it's lessons I've learned from this conversation and watching this movie. Number one, never live in a house where there's hundreds of tarantulas living underneath you. Number two, never trust a man who calls himself McG, because who the fuck calls himself McG? Number three, women should direct everything.
Yes. Yes.
Let me check my list. Yeah.
Yeah. No. If I were the type to get a tattoo, I won't get a tattoo because I don't like needles or commitment. But if I were to get a tattoo, it would be women should direct everything. Yeah. Because I'm tired of saying it. And so maybe if it's a visual picture, then somebody will listen. Yeah.
Just get a Sharpie, Sharai.
Maybe so.
Just draw it on my boob where the hole was on the cheerleader. Just be like, oh.
All right. Well, that was The Babysitter. Thank you so much, Saxon, for joining us.
Absolutely. That was such a blast.
We'll have to have you back when we're doing like a real show with a good movie.
Oh, please do. I would love to come back. This was so much fun.
I'm happy it was fun, even though we saw what we saw.
We saw. It's all good. It's all good. We saw some things. It brought us closer together.
Well,
we learned some things.
We learned
maybe some stuff we wish we didn't.
Yes.
But
we learned 3 good lessons.
3.
Most important being never trust McG.
Never trust McG. Lukewarm. This is my lukewarm take. That's
My lukewarm take. Never trust McG.
I'm gonna find his real name because I refuse to call him McG anymore. After this, he doesn't earn a nickname.
No.
He's gonna be called whatever his name is. I hope it's something like Jortino.
Wait, before we end this, what is his real name?
All right.
While Trent's wrapping it up, I'm a Google.
We're gonna find
I'm
it.
supposed to finish the rest of my seltzer. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is not a
All right.
sponsorship. Or
Oh, McG's name is Joseph McGinty
Or
Nickel.
is it? Let us know.
Joseph McGinty Nicole.
Nickel.
Or Nickel.
Yeah.
McGinty.
Joseph.
The nickel threw me because it's the Nichol nickel. So I was like,
Yeah.
No.
It's like a singular Mike Nichols.
Yes. Like they couldn't rub 2 nickels together, so they just went with the
I
solo.
got the one.
Yeah.
I think
So-
Joseph McGinty's a cooler name than McG personally.
Joseph McG. Yeah.
How do you take 3 letters from your cool name and be like, that's what you're gonna call me, and I'm gonna do Sugar Ray videos? I have questions.
All right. That's what I needed to know. Now I am there.
All right. Well, in closing, join us again. We'll see how many hot takes we have for part 2 of this joyous occasion. Saxon, you're welcome to come back and join us and rip that one to shreds too. We'll see what happens.
I'd love to if I can.
But yeah, so we'll be back at 8 Central, 9 Eastern. I got it right this time. And we'll be covering The Babysitter, Killer Queen.
If they waste another Queen song in that sequel, I'm gonna find Joseph McGinty. I'm gonna find him tonight.
Joseph McGinty.
Yes. Stop wasting Queen.
We'll see. We'll see.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.